Om Sai Ram and welcome to the 11th episode of Sri Ramvijay Granth lecture series. In today's episode, we are going to take up the major part of Ramvijay, one of the major parts rather, which deals with the Lanka Dahan. How Lord Hanumanji, he burnt the entire golden estate of Ravana, the entire Lanka. And we will also look at the story behind the golden Lanka or Lanka being of gold. So, in the previous episode, we concluded with the fact that there was a war going on between, or a fight going on between Lord Hanuman and Indrajit, the son of Ravana. So, after seeing that Hanuman was much more stronger than Indrajit, he he hid himself in a cave, and then he he started weeping inside the cave, and the mouth of that very cave was blocked up by Hanumanji by putting a mountain in front of it. So today we are going to continue with the next adhyay, adhyay 31, 32 and 33 respectively. So let us proceed with today's episode. And we dedicate this presentation to the lotus feet of Sri Sai Maharaj, the Kali Yuga incarnation of Lord Ram. And let us pray to him so that we are able to complete this total series successfully, that we are able to reach the devotees with these holy pastimes of the Lord and enrich their lives with these pastimes. Let us preach Ram Katha to the fallen souls of Kali Yuga, and let us set them free from the bondage of their karmas. With a Jaikara to Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj and Sri Ramji, let us start with chapter 31 of Sri Ram Vijay Granth. Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj ki Jai, Siyavar Ramachandra ki Jai, Pavan Sut Hanuman ki Jai. So now, in this chapter, Ravana, having been acquainted with the news imploringly, he said to Brahmadev, "You see, Indrajit is in difficulty. If you personally go there, you will be able to ensnare the monkey." So now Ravana, as all the demigods were his slaves, he himself said to Brahmadev that now you will have to manage this situation entirely, because my son is going to lose this fight. You will have to save my son. You will have to tie up the monkey. Anyhow, I therefore beseech you to do the work for me. Whereupon Brahmadev went near the cave when Indrajit hung his head down with shame and said, "Unless you catch hold of the monkey, I cannot venture to come out of the cave." Now Indrajit also started requesting Brahmadev. Whereupon Brahmadev put upon Maruti the Brahma Pasha or the Brahmastra. Pasha means anything which ties up someone, or a rope in common language. So Brahmadev let out his Brahma Pasha, or a complicated snare in English. So Maruti could have broken that Brahma Pasha in a minute, because he was Atulitbal Dhamam, and he was given this benediction in his very childhood that Brahmastra would not harm him anyhow. But he allowed himself to be caught in it. So we can see Maruti Maharaj is tied with the Brahma Pasha in this picture, and then he was carried to the court of Ravana. Indrajit went and vainly told his father that it was he who had caught the monkey. He lied to his father. They are demons, of course. They don't have any sattvic qualities. They have all the tamasic qualities in them. So Indrajit, he said his father that, "See, father, I have caught this monkey." Maruti made a coil of his tail higher than that of the throne of Ravana and sat upon it. The demon king indignantly asked, "Who are you? What is the name of your master?" I am Maruti. Do you know who I am? I am a servant of the prince who had saved your life at the court of Janak. If all the devotees remember that in the court of Janak during Sita's Swamvar, the huge bow of Parshuram was about to fall upon Ravana and he was about to die. At that time, Lord Ram lifted up the bow and he broke it off. So Maruti is reminding Ravan of that fact that I am the messenger, I am the proud servant of that prince who had saved your life at the court of Janak and cut off the nose of your sister. You are a great villain. You have carried off his wife Sita. I am sent by my master to ascertain where she is. My master will shortly invade Lanka and cutting off your 10 faces will return to Ayodhya with Sita. So now Hanumanji is warning. He is also indignantly warning Ravana that see your fate is now very bad. Your destiny will not be able to save you. Lord Ram will soon invade your Lanka and he will kill you and take away Sita from this Lanka. So at these words, Ravana was greatly insulted and ordered the demons to cut off the tongue, nose, ears and tail of the monkey. So now Ravana was very much insulted. In the open darbar, in the full darbar, Maruti was criticizing him. How could Ravana tolerate that? He immediately ordered his demons to carry out the following orders. So, in obedience to the order of the king, all the demons brought weapons of various sorts and began to pierce him with them. But nothing could be done to him as his body was made of Vajra. Hanumanji is also called Vajradeha. So Ravan was alarmed and did not know what to do. Nothing was happening to him. Nobody could even touch him. So at last he asked the monkey by what means he would die. That Ravana was now very much worried about the condition, that how to kill you. You please tell me. Just the same strategy he applied for Jatayu, he is applying for Maruti as well. That tell me, how are you going to die? So Maruti replied, I am immortal. But if you cover my tail with cloth soaked in oil and set fire to it, I shall immediately be burned to death. So Hanumanji also played a strategy, an opposite strategy to counter him, counter attack Ravana. Do not leave any part of my tail uncovered, and if you do so, nothing can be done to me. Whereupon now Ravana was happy that yes, now I have got the secret formula to kill this monkey. Whereupon Ravana ordered his servants to cover his tail with cloth. All the demons accordingly brought innumerable heaps of cloth soaked in oil and began to cover the tail of the monkey with them. But the more they covered the tail with them, the more Hanumanji lengthened it. The tail kept on increasing in length, and consequently, a part of it remained uncovered. All the cloth in Lanka was finished, and oil was exhausted. At last, Ravana ordered his servants to go to the Ashoka forest and get the dress of Sita. Then Maruti shortened his tail and allowed it to be entirely covered. So Maruti could not let that happen at all. So the demons now began to set fire to the tail, but they failed to light it. Maruti said, if Ravana will blow the fire himself, it will catch my tail, and I shall be immediately burnt to death. Now Ravana accordingly blew the fire, and the tail of the monkey was lightened finally. Now, while he was blowing the fire, it caught his beard. Now Ravana, in order to increase the fire, the intensity of the fire, he began to blow it. But on the contrary, what happened? Rather than the fire increasing, the fire caught Ravana's huge beard, and his mustaches on the sides, which were also extended, were entirely burnt. He covered his face with his handkerchief immediately and retired to his chamber. Now Ravana was ashamed that again in front of the entire full darbar, he was again humiliated by this act of himself only. So this is how he lighted the tail of Lord Hanuman. And now we begin with Adhyay 32. What happened after the tail was lighted? Maruti rolled on the ground and burnt the beards and moustaches of the demons and the hairs of the demonesses with his tail in flames. He burnt many of them to death, and in a short time, 1/3 part of Lanka was on fire. He started the Lanka Dahan act. After burning Lanka, Hanumanji went to the Ashoka forest. So we are able to see what was the condition of the golden estate of Ravana at that time. It was totally burned to ashes. Hanumanji did his Lanka Dahan act, and he had burned the entire Lanka. He had burnt innumerable demons and demonesses in the fire. After which he proceeded to Ashoka Vatika, or the Ashoka forest, and assured Sita that her husband would take her very soon. Then he returned to Ram at the Pampa Sarovar with her ornament as a mark from her, and a letter from Brahmadev to the prince stating what the monkey had done in Lanka, that 1/3 of the country was burnt, totally burnt by Hanuman. And Lanka was made of gold, as we know. Ram and Lakshman were very glad to read the contents of the letters sent by Lord Brahmadev and expressed their heartiest gratitude to Maruti for the troubles he had taken for them. He was an obedient servant, a devotee of Lord Ram, and he had put his life on stake, although he was immortal. But he had taken so many pains just for the sake of Lord Ram, for his intense devotion towards Lord Ram. Now, let me narrate to all the devotees the story of how Lanka had become gold. How Lanka became of gold. How did Ravana get so much of gold? Let us unveil this secret today. Two Brahmins who were brothers always quarreled about the dakshina. We give cash or in kind the dakshina to the Brahmins for the austerities that they perform. So they had got that dakshina from their patrons and they quarreled about that. Their father became indignant at their conduct and cursed them, saying that they would be animals. And also their father cursed that the god Krishna would release them from the curse. So one brother, according to the curse, was transformed into a nakra, which is a crocodile, and the another one into Gajendra, which is an elephant. We all have listened to the story. We all know about the pastime of Lord Shri Krishna, how he had saved Gajendra from the crocodile. Let me repeat it once again. Now Nakra, or the crocodile, lived in water and Gajendra on a mountain. One day Gajendra accidentally came to the lake in which the Nakra lived. And while drinking water, the crocodile dragged Gajendra into the lake. He was a very strong crocodile. And a severe fighting took place between both of them. Now the Nakra severely wounded Gajendra and was about to kill him when Gajendra prayed to Krishna for help. Now the merciful God, listening to their prayer, he listening to his intense prayer, Gajendra's intense prayer, he came and he hastened towards the lake. He rode on Garuda, and finding that his devotee, the Gajendra, was wounded by the Nakra, Krishna killed the crocodile and released him and the elephant, both of them, from the curse. and both of them were hence given liberation or moksha. After releasing them from the curse, Krishna prepared himself to return to Dwarka. When Garuda requested him, "I am very hungry, Prabhu. Please therefore give me something to eat." So Krishna said, "I shall postpone my departure for an hour or so. And in the meantime, you can eat the corpses of Nakra and Gajendra, which are lying over there." Whereupon, so here we can see in the photo that how Lord Shri Krishna, using the Sudarshan Chakra, he killed Nakra and saved Gajendra. And now let's see what are the rest of the photos doing over here. So when Garuda went up and picked up the corpses which were lying on the lake with his bill and sat on a tree called Jambuvruksha for the purpose of eating them. But the branch of the tree on which he had made his seat upon was broken by his weight. It was a narrow branch. It couldn't sustain the weight of Garuda along with the two heavy corpses. It was a very thick branch, let me tell you, but the weight was also enormous. When he observed that millions of rishis, they sat in meditation on the leaves of the branch. The rishis, they made themselves small and they meditated on the leaves of the branch. In order that the branch might not fall on the ground and kill the rishis, he firmly held the branch by his bill. Not knowing where to keep it, he went to his father Kashyapa. We know Kashyap Muni, he is a great rishi. And he informed Kashyapa Rishi about his difficulty, whereupon Rishi Kashyap requested the rishis to come down off the leaves, and they complied with his request. He then told Garuda to leave the branch on a mountain at Lanka. Garuda accordingly did it, and he went away. The branch remained on the mountain and it was converted into gold. When Maruti burnt Lanka, it was melted by the heat of the fire, and the liquid gold, it flowed through the part of Lanka, and Lanka's rest of the part, since the gold melted with the enormous heat generated by a city burning, it turned the rest of the Lanka into gold. With this, we conclude chapter 32 or Adhyay 32, whereupon we learned about the Lanka Dahan and how the Lanka was turned into gold after the Lanka Dahan incident, and we saw about the history behind it. In Adhyay 33, we are going to take up again a very wonderful step taken forward by the Vanar Sena of Lord Ram, and how Lord Ram worshipped Ma Durga. I had promised all the devotees that I will share this short pastime, so let me share it with all of you. Soon after, Ram and Lakshman made preparations for marching against Ravana. Now Hanuman had returned to Ram with the letter, whereupon Brahmadev stated everything that had happened on Lanka. And on the day of Dashera, Dashera is a festival which is held on the 10th of Ashwin Shuddh, the day before Ekadashi. It is called Durga Puja or Navaratri all over India. On this day, in commemoration of the victory of Devi Durga, the wife of Lord Shiva, over the buffalo-headed demon Mahishasur, is celebrated. Ma Durga attained victory over Mahishasur on the day of Dashera. Her image is worshipped for 9 days, and after that it is immersed in water. So, on this day, the Marathas and Kshatriyas, or those who consider themselves of military race, worship the goddess. Ma Durga holds weapons on her 10 hands, and the Kshatriyas, they ask for protection of them throughout the year under the conception that to the propitiousness of the sword they owe every prosperity. They set out with 108 padmas or lotuses, and they worship Ma Durga. Similarly, Lord Ram, before going to Lanka for the battle, he worshipped Ma Durga. He used 108 blue lotus flowers. Blue lotus flowers are very much rare. They are generally not found. They are found only in the Himalayan regions. And Ramji was in the extreme southern tip of India. So Lord Hanuman, he went to the Himalayas and he brought 108 lotuses. Out of which Ma Durga, she stole one of the lotuses. And the lotuses were all well counted by Lord Hanuman while bringing. So Lord Ram started doing the worship of Ma Durga where 108 lotuses are required. And while offering, he found that there were not 108 but 107 lotuses. So at that time he was highly tensed, highly worried that now my entire worship will be vain. It will be useless because one lotus is lacking. I have fallen short of one lotus. Hanuman, didn't you count it properly? Lord Hanuman said, yes, yes, Prabhu Ram, I have counted it very well while I was bringing them. So Lord Ram said, then where did one lotus go? How did it vanish from this flower basket? So now Lord Ram was very much morose. He was very sad and dejected that his puja or his worship ritual will not be fulfilled. Suddenly he being of a very intelligent and witty disposition, he thought that people call me Kamal Nayan. That means my eyes are considered to be lotus eyes. So what if I sacrifice my eyes? I give one of my eyes to Ma Durga as an offering rather than giving her a blue lotus because it is very far. Himalaya is very far. So it is not possible to bring one lotus in such a quick time. So what he did was he immediately took up his bow and was about to shoot an arrow towards one of his eyes when suddenly Ma Durga appeared on the scene and she caught Lord Ram's hand and said, "What are you doing, Prabhu? I had taken purposely, I had hidden one lotus just to test your faith, to test your devotion. But you are going to sacrifice your eyes. No, no, Prabhu. Your eyes are really Kamal Nayan. Your eyes are equivalent to millions of lotuses. Please don't at all hurt them." So this is how Ma Durga accepted their worship, and she promised that whatever support is needed in the war, whatever power is needed, I will be providing that power. I will be there. I will be fighting from your team. And Ma Durga stopped Lord Ram from hurting his beautiful eyes, his Kamal eyes. And now we are able to see Ma Durga gaining victory over Mahisasur. We are able to see her beautiful image. She is killing the demon Mahisasur. So now the Vanar Sena was totally ready to attack Lanka. They set out with 18 Padmas, or 10 billions are equal to 1 Padma. So now there were 18 Padmas of monkeys, 72 kotis. 1 koti is equal to 10 millions, as we all know. So 72 kotis of warriors under the command of the old monkey Jambuvan. So Jambuvan was leading this army of 18 Padmas and 72 kotis of monkeys. And besides that, there were another 56 kotis of other monkeys. So now when they arrived at the seashore, which Maruti had first crossed, the same sea, now they were encamped there. They found no way to proceed further. How to cross this vast sea, vast ocean? How to move till Lanka? There seemed to be no way. The sea was vast. And how to carry this huge army to the next shore? The news being spread throughout Lanka now that Ram was about to attack Lanka. Now, Ravana had many messengers. One of them had definitely informed Ravana. So entire Lanka was now alarmed. Vibhishan, the youngest brother of the demon king, entreated him to restore Sita to her husband and set all the gods at liberty. So Vibhishan requested his elder brother that please restore Sita to her husband and set all the gods at liberty. This is for your benefit. Your life will be saved for this. He said, if you do not listen to my advice now, the whole of Lanka will be annihilated and all the demons will be destroyed. Now Ravan and his son, they started fighting with Bibhishana. Ravan and Indrajit, they replied, we do not care all about it. Let Ram and all the monkeys come upon us. We shall kill them all in a second. Now having failed to persuade the demon king to restore Mata Sita to Ram, Vibhishan, now accompanied by 4 demons, came where the monkeys had been encamped and sought to visit the prince. Now, after Vibhishan saw that Ravan was angry on him, he was not listening to his advice. Vibhishan immediately crossed the sea and he came to the spot where the monkeys had encamped themselves. And he, accompanied by 4 demons, Vibhishan requested that I want to meet Lord Ram. Now the monkeys were about to kill the demons when Vibhishan said, I am the younger brother of Ravana and have come here to see Ram. I hear that he killed Vali and gave his kingdom to Sugriva. In the same manner, I want him to kill Ravan and give his Lanka to me. He is wicked and has oppressed both the gods and Brahmins. Now, the monkeys still did not believe him. The monkeys looked upon him with suspicion and did not believe at first that he had what he was saying. Their job was to protect Lord Ram. But Maruti said, no, Vibhishan is not a wicked demon. He is a devotee of Ram and has come here with some good object. Whereupon Ram desired the monkeys to allow Vibhishan to see him. Now Sugriv went and brought him to Ram. So according to Lord Maruti's instructions, Sugriv, he escorted Vibhishan to the place where Lord Ram was sitting. So the demon fell at the feet of the prince when Lord Ram blessed him, saying that he would be the king of Lanka and would reign there as long as the sun and the moon last. Ram asked him that what he should do to cross the sea with this large army of monkeys. Now Lord Ram asked him that, Vibhishan, may you give me an advice? That how shall I make it off to that shore with this large army of monkeys? When Vibhishan replied, pray to the sea god, and that he may make way for you and your army, Prabhu. So he advised Lord Ram to pray to Samudradev or sea god to make a way for Lord Ram's army. So Ram went to pray to the sea and Vibhishan again left for Lanka. Ravana was informed by a demon called Shardula that a large army of monkeys under the command of Sugriv had been encamped near the shore of the sea and they all would invade Lanka in a day or two. Whereupon a demon called Shuka came to Sugriv on behalf of Ravan and said to him, Ram is a wicked man, and why do you help him? What have you to do with Sita? Quietly return home with your army. And if you do not listen to me, the heads of all your monkeys will be cut off. And Ram and Lakshman and you all will be killed. Now, the demon was here to poison the ears of the monkeys against Lord Ram. Now the monkeys were enraged at what the demon had said and they beat him severely. When Lakshman interfered and he said that no, don't beat him, let him go. The demon again said, you all are stupid. You all will be shortly sacrificed. Rashabha, he was a monkey from the Vanarsena. He replied, just tell Ravana to restore Sita to Ram. And if he refuses to do so, his neck will be cut off with his 10 heads. Hold your tongue, said Shuka. Now Shuka also, he started counter-attacking them. Sita will never be restored to Ram. I again tell you all to leave the prince alone here. Otherwise, you all will be killed. And if you do not listen to me, your days are numbered. Now, the demon was constantly warning them that you all will be killed if you all support this Lord Ram. You all leave him. The monkeys again caught him by his neck and, having belabored him, bound him with a cord over there in front of their camp. They tied him up. So, this is how the chapter 33 ends. In the next chapter, or chapter 34 onwards, we are going to see how Lord Ram, he started worshipping the sea god or Samudradev to cross the sea in order to take his vast army to the other shore of the sea, to Lanka, to rescue Mata Sita from the deadly clutches of Ravana. We will see what will be the following incidents and how this vast army is going to work hard, construct the Ram Setu and cross the sea and then invade the Lankapuri. So till then, let us take your leave for this week. I hope all of you enjoyed listening to Ram Katha, listening to the divine pastimes of Lord Ram, Lord Hanuman. We learned about the Lanka Kanda or the uh, Lanka Dahan incident of Lord Hanuman, how he burnt the entire golden estate of Ravana. So we can see the Vanar Sena, Jambhuvan, Sugriv, Hanumanji, everyone encamped near the seashore and they are worshipping the sea god. They are planning how to cross the sea. I thank all the devotees for watching this video with utter patience, devotion and faith. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Today I am taking your leave. We will be back again next Sunday with the blessings of Lord Ram, Lakshman, Sita and Lord Hanumanji, their lordships and Sri Sainath Maharaj's blessings and inspiration. We will again continue with the 12th episode of Sri Ramvijay Perspective Series. Thank you so much. Om Sri Sainath.